Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me again. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Happy Monday to you. We're taking a quick look here at HBAR, seeing kind of what's going on, helping understand, the best practice and big picture in scenarios like this, because I get the question a lot, hey, if the price goes up this far, do I just short at the top? The short answer is no, but long answer is probably yes. Again, depending on how it all looks, we got to determine if this is overextended and what goes into it, because there's a lot of continuations that are either very healthy, like this one appears to be so far, and there's also things you need to recognize too. When Bitcoin is pumping like this, for example, and we expect it to go higher, coin like this will probably continue. Okay, so again, careful shorting at the first opportunity. We want to wait until it's fully overextended before we do so. If you have any, if you're curious about that, watch our SHIB video from Saturday. It was roughly 2 days ago, where we went ahead and shorted and took some nice healthy profits there. Right, we only stuck with a little 5x trade, 28%, but again, easy money basically, right? Because again, we're selling that overextension, but there's a lot of things that went into it. The price turned right around as soon as it hit our profit target. Okay, so again, you want to be strategic in how you do things, but generally speaking, yes, there is meat on the bone here that could be taken. There's a large fair value gap we're going to talk about, and much more. So if you're new to the channel, I love to teach people trade. I hope you can learn something here today. Like, subscribe, follow the whole 9 yards down below if you want to help support the channel. If you want to become a better trader, of course, we got awesome trades here. Just recently took some healthy profits from CFX, 21%. SHIB, there's that 128%, I already showed you that. Bake, 101%, 33% from Wreath, and the list goes on. So again, those are just profits we took this weekend from all the trades we took throughout the week. And there's a few others that are also very, very close to hitting their take profit targets. Probably more likely to do so now that Bitcoin's pumping, but we will see here soon. I'll start sending out weekly updates on my signals just so you can kind of see what that looks like. Make sure, if it's a good fit for you, fantastic. If not, that's cool too. But again, it's just fun to be able to trade with an awesome, like-minded community too. So thanks again for all my members to, just making it an awesome place to be. All right, so here's the thing with HBAR. I've covered this recently. It's been pumping, but it came back down to retest this level. And oftentimes what you see here is this retest of a previous resistance turned support, right? So the price came down to a support, and then we had this liquidity level down here that it went ahead and swept, and then it continued higher. It's a very common occurrence where the price action will bounce off of a key level support or sweep just below that and then continue higher. Okay, so again, some cool stuff there in that regard. HBAR is doing exactly, I wouldn't say exactly what expected, because you never truly expect to do the exact same thing, but it is working within the same reasons, the same parameters that we're used to. That being said, if we're taking a look here at the RSI, we are peaking up over 70 in the RSI. That does tell us we could very well see the price action pull back from here. Because last time we hit RSI at 70, we just peaked up over there. The price inevitably pulled back. But just before it pulled back, it pumped for another day, right? So you got to keep in mind, this may not be ending here. It's safe to say that there's a chance the price could come a little bit higher. Okay, again, it's just one of those things where whoever has a lot of money will see that there's a lot of folks coming in there, the late longs, and then they're going to just wash them out. Or the inverse as well, where sometimes there's a lot of shorts and they just try to get them wrecked, right? Unfortunately, that's kind of the name of the game. So make sure you have a stop loss in place. Take a look here. MACD, we got a nice little bounce there, of course. So that convergence is still on the horizon there. And for lack of better terms, there's a greater chance the price could continue further. So careful just jumping in on a short. Once again, from the outside looking in, it seems probable that you're going to take some profits if you come down from here. But once again, it may not be at its top. We will see here soon. But keep in mind, if Bitcoin hits 30,000 or breaks that level, HBAR could very well continue to follow suit. That's where you want to be kind of careful and cautious, understand the overall conditions of the market. The market is looking very green today, and it would make sense that the coin continues. But you also got to recognize too that with the market being as green as it is, profits have to be taken, right? And why aren't profits going to be taken from the largest, or at least the most amount of volume from a coin that has the most profit in the day? So again, you got to recognize that a lot of shorts are going to start coming into the market here soon for HBAR. All right, last but not least, let's go ahead and refer to some moving averages. These are all well and good. They're in the past now, but we can see the 200-day set moving average working itself out right there at about 0.5, the halfway mark, which is 5970. So 5.97, round number, 6 cents, is essentially the case in point where the 200-day SMA is averaging itself out. That is probably a strong likelihood for the price to pull back to that level inevitably, right? If it does pull back, that would be a good bouncing point because we'd get that liquidity sweep, we'd get that extra amount of volume in that range, and 0.5 is a common retracement zone, okay? Now you're probably asking yourself, well, why don't you have your Fibonacci retracement levels pulled up for today? Well, that's not usually how you do it. You want to wait for the candlestick to close. Candlestick hasn't closed, it hasn't finished tracing. So In that sense, we got to use the most recent relevant data from the most recent high, the most recent low, and 0.5 is that lowest point there that the price will typically pull back to if it does. Now let's take a look at the 4 hour and see if there is that fair value gap that I was discussing earlier. And when you take a look at this here, you can kind of see, there, this might be a little easier to see. Generally speaking, it comes right down to that previous resistance turn support level, right? So again, fair value gap is established between previous candlestick closures and new ones, whereas the price action gapped up so extreme that there's a lot of value there, and inevitably that will be swept. There's a chance it may not be, too. Keep this in mind. The price could continue to shoot up from HBAR. But you got to recognize this whole circumstance here, the way that things are. It would make perfect sense for it to pull back, considering the way that Bitcoin is behaving as well. And we'll talk about that here in a moment. So let's just discuss quickly the 4 hour and work our way down, and we'll summarize. So long story short here, RSI is coming back down. Typically when the price comes down here to this level, that's when you want to consider a sell. All right, so we're a little early here in the sense of the matter, but the bottom line is that the 4 hour time frame is telling us that the price action could and should pull back, because inevitably, if you look at any coin's history, when it overextends itself, the RSI will typically only stay over 70 for so long. And that's again on the 4 hour time frame. It's less common for it to do that. So not only do we have the RSI peaking, we also have stochastic telling us it wants to come back down. We're having that divergence. Okay. Now keep in mind, money flow index is fairly high, so that will also support this range, and we could very well see the price continue. But once again, it does make sense for the price to pull back. It's just a matter of when at this point. Now, it could very well pump again, so please be careful. But again, on the same accord, this is looking like it wants to come back down. All right, so again, we've established we're overextended on a lot of different scenarios there. MACD is converging here still. We're starting to lose that momentum, of course, and it does start to dissipate. And typically, once you do have that overextension, like before, the price will slowly taper off as you diverge. Okay. Now, let's see if you can see this here. We had a MACD divergence roughly about 12 hours into this overextension. Okay. So we may not diverge right away, but I think within the next 12 to 24 hours, we should see that unless the price can average itself out currently. And what we'll need to see is a tremendous amount of volume at this level, which uniquely enough, we're seeing a lot of that. I mean, take a look at this volume in the last 24 to 48 hours. Actually, this is more so like this is almost 2 weeks worth of trading. We have the most amount of volume at the current price point. It leads me to believe the price may not actually drop down that low, at least it won't right away. The probability of this price action pulling back quickly is lower because of that. This is why volume is an important thing. A lot of people just kind of skim over it and just don't even bother with it. But the amount of volume that we're seeing in the last 12 hours is greater than the amount of volume we see in the last 2 weeks. Okay, it speaks very loud. Again, no pun is intended there, but it's absolutely something you're going to recognize. Therefore, this does imply if you were to short, a profit target in this range would be more likely than getting greedy and trying to go all the way down to this fair value gap. Again, it could and should very well fill there eventually. It depends on how long you want to hold the trade for. If you want to get in and out quickly, though, I would say more so down to about the 6.5 mark would be an appropriate target. It's not a tremendous amount of profit, maybe about 2% or 20 to 40% if you're 10 to 20x leverage. But again, profit is profit. Okay. So again, I'm speculating we're going to see a minor pullback, but if we do see a bounce, it would be either here off the volume or here off of the most recent support range based on the previous high. And again, a little bit of a liquidity sweep right there, and the price continues upwards. So a couple of different scenarios, but again, unless you're swing trading for a longer time, the likelihood of this fair value gap down here getting filled is lower because of the amount of volume we have at this higher range. So please be careful shorting into this. This is another reason why you look at a lot of different things when you're analyzing, because from the bird's eye view, yes, it's overextended, yes, it should pull back. But with this amount of volume here at this level, the likelihood is lower because there's so much support right there that this has become the new average true range. Okay? And ATR is a whole other thing. That's a conversation for another day. But in truth, we're looking a lot stronger than you might expect if you just look at the big picture. I hope I'm wrong and you can short all the way down to the bottom. I hope that's the case. Don't get me wrong. But it just seems very likely for the price to sustain here based on the amount of volume we're seeing and the amount of interest at this 6.4 to 6.6 range. Last but not least, let's go ahead and just double check. Ichimoku Cloud says all green lights, no reason to short. The long positions are winning. So again, shorting into this is a little bit of a treacherous move. Okay, so please be careful when you when you're looking at this here. Furthermore, last thing to look at would be overextension. And again, we've already identified this as overextended on the 4 hour in multiple circumstances, minus the volume. You can see we hit a 9 here as well, and we got a little reset. So we could very well see about 6 or 7 more hours of continuation of the upside. I would not be surprised if this price action continues up before it continues down lower. If it does continue up, that'd actually be a better opportunity to short, because then you can short to this 6.4 cent mark instead of hoping for the best and not getting the return you're looking for. Once again, I hope I'm wrong here and the price does pull back if you are shorting. And I hope I'm right if you are in a nice long position, because it's statistically more probable for the price to go up than down at this point, just based on the amount of volume we're seeing. Literally, volume is like 60% of an analysis in most cases, because if you don't have volume, you don't have continuation. And we have the volume. Why won't it continue? There's no reason not to. So again, I would just say wait for two things. One of two things will happen. If the RSI comes back down and breaks below 70 on the 4 hour, that would be a case in point where I'd consider shorting. I'd also consider shorting if the volume significantly dissipates over the next couple of days. Okay? So again, this thing here starts coming down, then we're going to see a pullback. Okay, so again, different strategies, different scenarios here, but this definitely looks like it wants to run. I'd be careful betting into it. If you do have a swing trade, use multiple entries on the way up, because it could very well continue higher. As a matter of fact, here are the entry levels. Because 0.618 is a pretty strong resistance in most cases. So if you see this guy right here, that would be a good second entry target. So you could enter now, second target there at about 6.9, 6.875, and then a third target right there at the 2 level, right there at about 7.2. Okay, so those could be some good entries if you want to go ahead and just trade all the way down to the lowest part of this gap. Because once again, that fair value gap comes all the way down to the previous support level at about 5.75. All right, so again, those are just some scenarios there to think about. Really depends on your trading strategy right now. If you're just a short-term day trader, yeah, you can get in and out quickly. But if you're swing trading this guy, I would keep it open and wide to ensure that you get a good fill and that the price action moves the way you want it to. I hope that makes sense. All right, again, you want to become a better trader, CryptoCash.tech is a site. You can join us with all these profits and just have a really awesome experience. I can tell you, we have a really cool interactive community. It's a lot of fun. Be sure to check it out. CryptoCash.tech, we have a open Discord and Telegram. But furthermore as well, minus our Twitter, we have a discount right now in the month of August, right? So for the next 15, 16 days or so, you can essentially register for a discounted rate for our Premium Plus. Summer sale 23, I think it is. Link down below. Be sure to use that code when you check out. I'd be happy to work with you. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Thanks again so much for your time. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.